craft team. Today I'm excited because we are making this beautiful Senegalese Zara cap. Check it out. Are you ready? Let's get crafting. If you're new here, you're highly welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I am Imiwari. We'll start by making our base. The measurement I'm using, the head circumference is 25 inches by 14 inches width. So I'll fold it in half and nudge so I'll get the center of my base that I want to make. Then the maco I'll be using is 18 inches. The width is 3 inches. 18 inches by 3 inches. That's the measurement I'll be using for my maco. So just here to show you is 3 inches I'm working with. Then I'll fold in half also and mark the center of the maco with my Tailor chalk. I'll do the same on both sides so I'll get the midpoint, the center. Then I'll place the midpoint of my maco directly to that place I nudge at the on the fabric. That's where I'll place it. Then I'll now fold it. See the way I'm folding it? I'll fold it by half an inch, quarter inch, half an inch, just so the fraying point goes inside. Then I'll now fold it over my maco before I will sew and close it. Fold it half an inch or quarter inch, then fold it over your maco, then sew. I'll sew down the straight line first. I'll with my sewing machine now, I'll just run it through the straight line, sew it to the end so it secures my maco in place. Then when I'm done sewing that straight line to the end, I will now also go ahead to sew where the maco stops. Where you have the edge of your maco on both sides, I will sew down that place. This will secure my maco perfectly. Then when I'm done with that, I'll now fold over my base and get the head circumference. I'm working within 5 inches, so it's best you work with the head circumference of your client or yourself, the person you're making your Zara cap base for. So the measurement I started off with is 25 inches. So after folding and sewing, I'll now fold over in half and get the head circumference, the exact head circumference, and close it. So now I'm trying to manipulate to put that sewn part, let it be at the middle of your maco so your thread does not show at the top of your Zara cap. So that is what I'm trying to do here to manipulate. So my footage of how I close it, I lost that footage. So here I'm just doing my running stitch, but I'll link a video at the end of this video so you can watch how to go about that, how to close if you're a first timer. But for someone who has been doing Zara cap, you're not having issues with that part. So if you're a first timer watching my video, I have another video I will link at the end of this video so you see how you go about closing your Zara cap and making your running stitch. So now doing my back stitching, after my running stitch, I'll just do my back stitching to ensure my running stitch stays in place and secure it firmly. That is what I'm doing. Just go over your with your needle backwards, just catching every part you've done your running stitch, just catching it and sewing to keep it firm so your running stitch does not just loosen out. That's the essence of you doing back stitch. It helps to keep your running stitch in place and firm. So I'm done. I'll just go ahead to knot off my thread and cut it off. My stitch, knot off my stitch, cut it off, and we are done with our Zara cap base. Now it's time for the interesting part, how to go about this Senegalese design. So for my base, I'll show you, I did not close it off entirely. I kept a space So you opening, so at the end of this video you will see what I did with that opening. So for my design, I'll be working with 40 inches length. So this is on fold, you can see it's 20 inches, so it's on fold 40 inches. I've already sewn it, but this is the back side. The width is 6 inches. Then see my seam allowance there where I closed it off, that is my seam allowance. But after sewing, the width is 6 inches because the crinoline I'll be using for the design is 6 inches. Then see, manually trying to straighten out my seam sewn area. If you don't have, like, can't iron out your fabric, this is another technique to smoothen it out and get your seam to fully align. So see my crinoline, I'll be passing it, and that thread area will be facing my, that where I sewed on my fabric. That thread area of my crinoline will be placed, it will align at that point where I sewed on my fabric. So now back to our Zara cap base. I'll be attaching it at the middle of my Zara cap base. That's my sewn area will be where I will place at the middle of my Zara cap base, and I will attach it. And I'm attaching it at that point where my maco starts. Then the extra fabric I kept is to ensure that you keep an allowance of a fabric that you know can fit into that opening. You remember that opening I told you on our Zara cap base? Yes. So you keep your fabric, the excess of your fabric should be the part that can fit in into that opening we kept, so that you will secure it at the end. So now we'll go ahead and start stitching my um this my crinoline attachment to my Zara cap base. I will be sewing through my maco. My needle goes through my maco, so it holds it firmly in place. So that is how I will attach it till I get to the other part where the maco stops. So I'm sewing it on my maco. So I'll just continue sewing until I get to the other part of my maco. If you've watched up to this point and you've not joined the craft team, what are you waiting for? Click on that subscribe button so you join the craft team for more headwear tutorials, fashion accessories, DIYs, millinery tips, and many more on this channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified when new video drops. Join the craft team. I would really love for you to be part of the craft team. And like this video if you find value, so it helps the platform to push out the video for more persons. Share for who you know will benefit from this tutorial. So I'm done with that first layer. So the second layer, I will do the same thing. The allowance I'm leaving is equal to the first allowance I kept on that fabric. So I'll just place it on the other one, but not directly on the other one, but the same way I placed it, my seam allowance facing up, I'll place it a bit above that first one I attached to the Zara cap. Then I'll start sewing. Just look at what I'm doing, you get the picture of how it's going. So I'll now sew it the same way I did till I get to the other point of the maco, where the maco ends. That's how I'll just sew till I get and attach it all the way. So just watch, is easy, you follow through, so at the end I will secure my stitch and make sure it doesn't loosen out, and make my knot and cut off. So we are done with the first part of this Senegalese Zara cap. So we'll now move on to arranging it. Now it's all about how you arrange your Senegalese, the style, the pattern you want. So I'll move it up. See the way I'm moving it up. I move both up from the the beginning of where I started sewing, I'll move it up. Then towards the middle, the midpoint of your Zara cap base, you let it down. So it's just like it's going up, then towards the mid, it starts coming down, like it slants down at the midpoint. That is how you arrange the Zara, the Senegalese style. So see the way I'm doing it. Just carefully, systematically lift it up, then start arranging it and slanting it down. Because of the crinoline inside, it stays in place the way you want it to be. So that's how it will come out. So I'll just slant it at this point, and you can now style the remainder anyhow you want. But from the point where we started, that point we'll have to fix it at the back of your the Zara cap base so it holds in place. See the way I'm doing it, I'll just fit it into that opening of the at the back and stitch it. That point I will have to and stitch that point. Then this other area, towards the slanted area, that is where we'll have to do our design. So that design, you can think of any design of choice to make there. You can make rose, you can make any design. Then you see this top part where you see that sewn thread, you can add any embellishment and cover it. So the upper layer of the my fabric, I will go ahead from this point and start making running stitch because I want to make a rose with the top part of the design. I'll be making a rose. I'm starting from that point where it I sewed and ended at where the maco stops. That is where I will start making my running stitch. I will make my running stitch all through. Just watch what I'm doing, you follow through. So I'll just make my running stitch, and when I get to this opening, you see how I close it so that the fraying point will not show. It will be inside your work. It will make your work look very neat. To make your work look very neat. So see how I'm closing it inside. I'll just fold my fabric inside and then sew. If you have excess crinoline, just go ahead, bring it out and cut it off so you can properly fold in your fabric the way I am doing and make your running stitch. So for this the description box, I'll be adding a link to our Telegram channel. You can join for free where we can discuss any design you want, and you can ask your questions like one-on-one personal questions about headwear, anything about headwear, fashion accessories, or you want tips in the millinery field. You can join, click on that link in the description to join our Telegram group where you're free, and sometimes I will posting designs there first before I can upload here. So you can join for free our Telegram group. You see the description box. I'll drop the link in the description box for you to join. Thank you for joining. I'll be expecting to see you on the Telegram group. So now that as I folded my fabric the edges in, I'm almost done doing my running stitch through that end. So when I'm done, I'll now make my rose. You can make your rose in any shape you want and make it finer than the way I'm making my rose. Is up to your own creativity. So this is how I'm just making my rose after my running stitch. Fold it on itself and try to secure it. I'll fold it, and when I like what I see, I'll go ahead to secure it with my needle and thread. So you can at this point let your creativity run wild and do as you wish and bring your designs to life. You can do any other design on your own Senegalese Zara cap. Any design will be fine. I'm done with my rose, and this is the outcome, how it looks. See how neat it is. You're not seeing any fraying point. So for the second layer, I cut off about 3 inches, because I just, this layer now, just go ahead, the same thing I did for the opening, I'll just fold it on itself, then close it. I'll just sew and close, make my stitch. After closing this part, I just folded it, like, see the way I'm doing it, I'm just folding it. You can also do any design for yours. You can do a double rose for your own design, anything you want, but me, I just want to fold this other part, then place it directly under my rose. So it's like, is, I don't know how to explain it, but I just like this way, like my rose is just resting on a folded, how will I call it now, but I just like this design. So you can make any other design for yourself and how you see fit. So I'll go ahead to just tack it down, stitch it down in place, so that this my folded design does not go off. I'll do the same thing on both sides. So now for this back, the finishing of my design at the back, I'll just go ahead and fold it in, let it fit into that opening. So even here, you can go ahead to do any other design, like rose or ruffles, to place at the back of your Zara cap. But for me, I will not do any design. I feel that front and side design is, like, is giving what it should be giving, and so I don't need to do too much again at the back. I don't know if you think the same way. Let me know in the comment section. Whatever you think you can create, so be creative. Bye.